Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting round of the FETTI'S No Skips Invitational. I am Chuck Nicey, and I'm joined today by our fabulous Brit, Spyron. Say hi, Spyron.
Hello everyone, happy to be here. Not so happy maybe that it's 3 a.m, but you know, we live, we learn, and we carry on as we should. So yeah, excited to be here for the most part.
We get slightly loopy, Spyron, today, and that is a true treat.
Ooh.
I am very excited for that. Today we have a very special matchup. Today we have Fetty versus Zogelix, which is going to be a fantastic race if you know a little bit of the lore. Otherwise, we're going to go into that here in a second. But first, I do want to say real quick that this tournament is sponsored by Nerd U Comics and Collectibles, a Georgia-based comics and collectibles store, hosting a whole bunch of comics, books, games, you name it. They got it, and if they don't have it, they will find it for you. Thank you very much, Nerd U Comics, for sponsoring. Feel free to take a look at their Facebook page for more details of how you can order any one of their fantastic bits of merchandise. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and go to our stats screen, and we are going to take a look at their stats, and we're gonna learn a little bit about them, especially this rivalry. Spyron, you might be able to tell our audience a little bit more about this than I can. What is the beef between Fetty and Zo? Yeah,
so long-time rivals, long-time friends too, of course, but long-time rivals more importantly for the purpose of this race. The origin story almost of Fetty, our resident tournament host, is that he came in spotting Zo, I guess, running this game initially, and in typical Fetty fashion was just like, oh yeah, I'll just beat that. I'll beat that time. I'll take your record. And he actually did. He did come a certain point. He actually did take Zo's records. But as you can see, both running on hardware. So this is hardware records that we are talking about. And yeah, so there's kind of been an ongoing rivalry, I guess, the whole time since Fetty was introduced to the Spider-Man speedrunning scene, and it's all thanks to Zogelix right there on your screen. So I guess as we run through the stats, pretty close times together. Fetty obviously having the advantage with a best runtime of 35:16, so the mental advantage potentially coming in, also placing him then at seed number 4 as a result. So it's all really for Fetty to lose, and that's perhaps what the pressure will be on his mind today as he comes into this race potentially with the advantage, like we say, in terms of he knows he can run faster than Zo can. He knows that as long as he hits the tricks that he needs to, nails the movement that he needs to, he can win this race. But sometimes being the favorite often puts you in a bit of a scary situation. Should anything go wrong, maybe you start panicking, maybe things start going a bit untoward. So something for Fetty to watch out for certain. As we've talked about, he's only been running much less time in comparison to Zo, who's been around for a long time. You can see like May 2018 in comparison to Fetty's 2023. Most hated level for Fetty, particularly Spidey versus Scorpion. I think more so just because of the pure luck that comes into that level. Nothing really
absolutely
you can do. There's a lot of skill obviously involved in the running of the one cycle strat to try and make sure you do the kick punch with web gloves combo. But you know, you can do everything perfectly, and J. John Jameson can just decide, you know, I'm just going to run into the next room, and I don't give a damn. So
yep,
yeah,
and that is
unfortunate level.
That is usually a big reset point for Fetty as well, but being a race, he cannot reset, he cannot end his stream, he must stick through it. And I know I've joked about that with him a few different times, but it is all the more true, especially in a race against Zoe. And speaking of Zoe, let's talk about him for a little bit. Zoe definitely been on the scene for a lot longer than Fetty. However, Zoe has taken a back seat in the PlayStation Spider-Man scene to pursue other speedruns such as Lord of the Rings and Battlefront 2 and whatnot, but we're not going to talk about those speedruns. What that really means is that Zoe could be out of practice, all depending. Now, he has gotten a run in already so far and has done his seeding phases. Maybe that's done a bit to shake off the cobwebs. I know, hearing from Fetty earlier, that that's got him a little bit shaken. So I think this is going to be a very interesting race. Zoe having a total of 48 points over Fetty's 20, running since 2018, a best run time of 38:32, which could change in this race, who knows. And the most hated level is Spidey versus Mysterio. It's very interesting that we are going to have both of our runners having a boss fight as their most hated level, although I cannot blame Zoe for hating Spidey versus Mysterio, especially after my last couple of races, for sure. But with that bit of knowledge check, thank you to NerdU for sponsoring that knowledge check. We'll go ahead and head over to the tournament screen.
Yeah, it's exciting now that we are here, and I think it sounds like Fetty has potentially got our audio running through. So
indeed, he does. I'm going to go ahead and mute him, and I'm going to turn on. I'm going to turn on Zoe's audio here. That way, we don't hear too much of my audio. I know we weren't supposed to use your audio, Fetty. I didn't realize that you were piping all the audio in, but that's perfectly fine. A wonderful color joke from a color theory joke from Jesse here, getting ready to start off our tournament. Spyron, if you would do the honors of going into setup and getting our folks ready. Looks like you're doing that right now. Fantastic. Fetty going for his classic Scarlet Spider outfit, the Ben Riley outfit. And Zoe, I'm not sure. But yeah, let's see him go.
Here we go. We are off to the races, well and truly. So again, a showdown of rivals, a showdown of friends who will come out on top in the end. And interestingly, for the first time in this tournament, we have a hardware versus hardware matchup. And we've got the different costumes. We can see Zoe in a separate costume from Fetty, both the respective, I think, favorite costumes. So it's good to see that. And already a differing in strategies. We love to see this, the differing in the initial strategy. No dying, hopefully. We don't want to see a Sotalia on this first level, or things completely go to pot straight away.
I know Fetty was sweating over that first level, knowing that Zoe is more keen to take the safer strat, only losing 2 seconds to doing so. But when it comes to races, every second counts. Sometimes you got to make those risky decisions.
Absolutely. And now, speaking of risky decisions, I guess not too many to be made in this first kind of section. It's fairly straightforward, which is good for our runners, good for everyone watching, because it keeps us kind of on track as both runners attempting to take out all the bank robbers on the roof. A few stragglers left behind, but relatively clean from both runners as they enter the building.
Fetty having a little bit of trouble taking out that last guy, putting them pretty much neck and neck right on the display. Very interesting to see them match up like this. I wonder if the next clincher for who's going to be ahead is going to come down to the cutscene overlap.
Absolutely, which those of you who have watched the streams before, watched these races before, it's this room here where the runners want to hit both buttons at the same time, basically, which I think both of them have nailed.
Yeah, I think they both got it. For sure.
Excellent.
And that's going to keep them neck and neck for a bit, and this is exactly what we wanted to see from this race and what we maybe should have expected. Zoe getting caught by a Denny on his way out, but still doing just fine to get to the end, just a few seconds behind. Still too early to call either one of them in the lead.
Absolutely, yeah. That room, the transfer between one room to the other, there's often times where you'll get a shot by the bank robbers there. They're quite accurate, I guess. At close range, it makes sense. Longer range, they tend to be a bit worse. Unless you're playing on Dreamcast, or unless you somehow turn Dreamcast mode on the PlayStation, which seems to happen from time to time for some runners. Can be unfortunate, as we see Zoe having a bit of an unfortunate time getting up this little section here. He's made it through though now, slightly behind though, as Fetti's already opened the door to the next room.
And he's lining it up for another cutscene overlap, and it looks like he's got it. Zoe not too far behind.
Let's see if he nails it as 2. And he absolutely does. Okay, so both runners not missing
stuff.
a trick. Yeah, this is looking real good coming into the end of this bank robber section, the bank levels. So all we need now is a clean execution of bomb throws from both our runners. It looks like Fetti getting in there at a 138. The bomb
a
door
very
will
respectable 138. And then Zoe coming in with a slightly slower time of 136 on that. But that's still going to keep them fairly neck and neck. Go ahead.
Yeah, not too far behind at all, but Zoe is definitely behind very slightly coming into this first level of the next kind of section where we are racing to the Bugle in order to save J. Jonah Jameson from Scorpion. Now, this level proven tricky for even the most experienced runners, more so the last kind of half of the level where you have to kind of swing yourself around the building, not get stuck to it as you kind of swing cancel your way across to the final building, the Daily Bugle, as we're about to see Fetti do here. We're going to hope that things stay relatively safe as he, manages to perfectly swing cancel his way around. As
Zoe getting a little low
swing.
Getting a little bit low. This level is a sleeper challenge in swing canceling and positioning yourself just right, more so than a lot of other open swinging levels. Is this level just a huge challenge and a huge test of your swing canceling ability? Zoe managing to barely skirt the void to get to the end of the level with Fetti already on Scorpion. Let's see how kind Jameson is. And he's got the one cycle. He is all set. Lovely. Fetti is locked in. Nothing is going to stop him now.
No messing around from Fetti. He wants this more than I probably could guess, because he does not want to see himself lose to his rival here. We don't want to see him lose. I'm sure Zoe wants to see him lose, though. Nice
Zoe knocked down, and Scorpion takes him out. Now he's got to go to the second room to take down Scorpion. That is a huge boon for Fetti, who is already going through a bit of the police chase, getting ready to wrap up the level to take him to missile attack, and Zoe wrapping up Scorpion himself, getting ready to start that police chase.
Yeah, unfortunate that knockdown was really the only thing that kind of stopped him from getting that one cycle. So it was an unfortunate, I guess, placement in that level to where he was standing to be able to be in range for a punch as opposed to the tail swing that is ideally what most runners look for when they are fighting him, to make sure that he can dodge that easily enough to be able to nail the full combo in as clean a fashion as you like. But now it's all down to movement, and it's all about movement. There's no crazy tech really on these next few levels. It's all just, can you move from A to B as fast as possible in as short amount of time as possible? So we see Zoe attempting to do that now, just a level behind Fetti, as Fetti is scaling this building as the missiles are being fired, and has done so relatively well with a few cheeky zips in between, which we love to see. We'll see if Zoe can implement any cheeky zips on his way up.
He'll need every advantage he can to get through, because you're absolutely right. It really comes down to execution, whereas Race to the Bugle is sort of the overlooked challenge. This is the overt challenge to your ability to swing cancel and position yourself just right to save as much time as possible. Fetti getting a wonderful swing through the girders to get to the next building, not wasting any time, and that's fantastic. Zoe getting ready to zip up from missile attack, getting ready to wrap up that level. These guys are doing fantastic in their execution so far.
Yeah, things really going relatively smoothly for both our runners here. Nothing really gone majorly wrong outside of the things really that Zoe couldn't massively control in the one cycle of the Scorpion. So yeah, things looking real close, and it'll take kind of, I guess, a major mistake on either our runners' parts here to really solidify a lead for either of them.
Indeed. Fetti technically one level ahead. We'll keep things tied, at least for the moment, but we do want to stress, especially for those of you who may be new to this speedrunning scene, this is still an undecided race. Neither of them has certainly clinched the victory just yet. There is plenty of opportunities for something to go wrong or something to go really right.
Yeah, and I guess another thing to point out as well is, of course, there are plenty of points available to be collected during the course of this race from both our runners, but neither one of them really, it looks like, pushing for our points at the minute. This is all about pure race mentality. There's no divergence from any kind of mainline routes at the minute. Nothing too crazy that we see in order to pick up any comics or anything like that. This is all about the race.
This is personal between these two, because this is going to be just a showcase of pure skill. There's probably not going to be too many frills at all with this, except for some incidentals like one cycle lock and the like.
For sure, and we now see Fetty has completed the police chase section. We'll now move on to Rhino, another boss fight, which is a relatively simple one, luckily, in terms of the speed run. Pretty straightforward in that you're basically just trying to jump into Rhino as deep as you can, pause, and then that's it. It looks like Fetty...
Oh no! Zoe needs to restart. He missed the zip and got shot out of the sky by a chopper. Let's get those Denny emotes in chat for those of you who may be subscribers to Fetty. But man, that is unfortunate. And speaking of unfortunate, Fetty getting a not so great positioning on Rhino, and it's just getting socked left and right. Both of our runners having a bit of a struggle here, which just makes the race all the more tense.
Yeah, interestingly, I feel like the gap really hasn't widened or decreased at all, just due to unfortunate things on both runners' sides. The unfortunate kind of Rhino there for Fetty not quite getting in position to be able to do the web domes in the way that he'd want to, and then Zoya having that unfortunate death, which means, of course, he will lose the chance to get the deathless points at the end of this run.
Unfortunately,
so.
Some
points lost there, but we see now as Zo enters into Rhino, if he has any better luck, it's looking
not so great. He's gotten
good,
punched. Yeah. He is a little bit far away from Rhino. That's going to cost them quite a few web cartridges, but I believe he's going to have enough to round out this fight with some web cartridges left, and that is a spider armor and a comic for Fetty.
Indeed, so he will see 3 points coming his way, his first 3 points of the tournament outside of the 20 that he got for PBing in his own time. So congratulations to Fetty, picking up his first couple of points, as now we see Zo at the start of this level. So again, really about a minute or so separating these runners at the minute, so it's really still all to play for as we go into the kind of second half of this game now.
Right, Fetty may be definitively in the lead, but we have yet to run into the actual big gauntlet of no skips, and that is the sewer section coming up after the Venom fight, right after this level. Zoe getting a bit of unfortunate positioning as he heads to the construction site on the first half of this Venom chase. Gonna put him a little bit further behind. Fetty getting ready to wrap things up, a little bit low on the swings, but I think that's gonna do just fine for him, with some wonderful cancels leading him into the end of the level. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, some very nice swing cancels there, and some nice placement of the final swing just before the final building to make sure he doesn't get caught on the kind of edge that sticks out of that second to last building. It can be quite a tricky one to not get caught behind, and often one that you'll see many runners stick to, which causes a bit of trouble to get into that last building. But yeah, well done to Fetty as he enters now into the first boss fight when it comes to Venom. We'll hope he gets some good spawns. Fetty has been known to shout about his hot zones, as Zo getting an unusual thing that we don't see very often, actually, where you get stuck on the inside of the building as opposed to swinging across, which you don't see very often outside
not on PlayStation.
of PC. Yeah.
Not on PlayStation, at least. Fetty, I believe, managing to get the comic in the Venom fight here by preemptively breaking the car and then gathering it after the last spawn of Venom, which is a very smart move, but it looks like it might have cost him the free web cartridge.
Yeah, it looks like he's down to 2 at the minute, which isn't too bad. He'll pick up 1 here for free, and then he's got all the ones to come on the subway ride. So Still plenty of opportunity to make sure he has
he's going under the
plenty of web
pipes.
catches.
Very scary.
Ooh. Yeah, some excellent use of the web zipping to stick to the bottom of the pipes to make sure he doesn't fall down. Really, really well executed under the pipes little strategy there. So well played to him. That'll certainly make sure the gap stays a gap in between Fetty and Zoe.
Zoe getting a dropped input on his combo with Venom, delaying that last spawn for a little bit. Zoe not going for either the free web cartridge or the comic. It's going to go into the next level with 3 cartridges.
Yeah, the cartridge is something to keep an eye on as we progress through the game for sure. For all our audience out there who are watching, something to keep an eye on. Just as not only does it get you points towards the end, but the web cartridges definitely become more important the later we get into the game, especially when there aren't really that many to collect outside of you really deviating from the path. As Fetty
taking a very cheeky, a very risky route behind the waterfall, skipping a few of the pipes along the way. Very interesting as he heads straight into Subway.
Yeah, that's a great God Pipes from Fetty there. Will earn him some points on that run. As Zoe opting for a cheeky little strategy here. Now this, I believe, is technically faster if you manage to uppercut a couple of lizards in one go as opposed to hitting them individually, which will then prove slightly faster than the regular web ball method that you'll see often employed by most runners. I don't think Zoe quite got what he wanted exactly, but he will make his way now onto the God Pipes himself as Fetty casually chilling on the subway. And
looks like he's playing a Game Gear. Looks like he might be playing a game. Yeah, that is a Sega Game Gear. Plausibly playing a Spider-Man title on the Game Gear. Not too surprising that the batteries might be dead, if not corroded.
Especially if they've been there for a while.
Oh, and he's putting it back. That's it for that. Never had a Game Gear myself, but my wife's father had one, and it is interesting to hold in the hands. It really feels like as large as a Steam Deck. Now, it looks like Fetty's going to be setting up a Game Boy Color, and he looks like he has Pokemon Yellow in that Game Boy Color.
Excellent.
And yes, that's what it looks like to me. Oh wait, no, Gold. He's Pokemon Gold. My God, do you think he's gonna pull out the step counter for that game? I hear that a step counter is the most accurate step counter in the world from specifically Generations 2 or Generation 4, but not Generation 3, and there it is.
Wow,
my God, like a little Tamagotchi, that step counter is ready to go.
And as we see on Zoe's end, the desk rising to meet him as he stands there menacingly staring at the screen.
We don't have the rights, but I want you to just hear the song Virtual Insanity playing in your head. I want to see Zoe just reaching his hand out to grab as the desk lowers. Let's see. Fetty here getting ready to wrap up his subway as Zojilix is taking a nice ride on the elevator a little too soon. We're getting some great bits from our guys.
But yeah, we could save that for the elevator. That'd be quite fun if he pulls that back out again as he's waiting for the elevator. But yeah, do you know, actually, I'd quite like a standing desk, I have to say. If our desk could raise and lower like that, I think it'd be quite good.
I would love to have one for sure. Yeah. I need a corner desk with all the crap on mine. Fetty heading straight into the next level here. One of the longest levels in the no skips category. Normally in any percent we could skip this in about 30 to 45 seconds without much issue, but we need to go through the entire level as we cannot skip through the gate.
Absolutely. And Fetty, well known for providing some cool little routing guidance on this level. You'll might see him pull it out. Well, hope that we will. As
we'll pause on that phrase. But
yeah. Yeah, here we go. So it looks like he's going to line it up.
Amazing. Not even bothering to go into the room itself. Just some well-placed web balls. Zoe getting a very early start on his lizard clearing. in Subway. I wonder if this is going to mean his super train is gone. Speaking of which, did we get a look at whether or not Fetty got super train on his end?
I think it was like a frame perfect. It was really, really close. We potentially might have to go back and review the footage just to double check.
That's
But
perfectly
Zoe
fine.
I think it pulled that off actually in the end there. So well played to Zoe. I think the timing of it starting early sometimes can come back to bite you because the lizards will just kind of keep falling a lot longer than if you start a slight bit later firing the web balls and knocking the lizards off the train. But sometimes it can go well, as I think it did for Zoe there. So fair play to him. I guess he might have potentially been practicing that as to a start, maybe where he just feels comfortable. And if the web catchers keep coming, then it's not too big a bother if you're firing web balls and firing web domes all over the place. So we'll see how that web cartridge count tends to fare as we continue into his run.
Indeed. Honestly, the Subway is one of the last good opportunities to grab some extra web cartridges, so you want to make sure you're positioned fairly well before starting your phase through the homies strat for Subway. Otherwise, you could be running the rest of the run with a scant few web cartridges, which can spell disaster, especially in the latter portion of the game.
Yeah, generally, most people saving the web cartridges for the Carnage fight, which, as kind of proven now, depending on if you do the new strat or not, actually may not matter as much as it used to if you're not employing the web ball strat. But it's still important to have as many as you can, especially if you want points as well. Always important. As we see Fetty now in Tunnel Crawl, perhaps one of the most scariest levels in the game for speedrunners. So we tried to one-cycle this little tunnel here. He's managed to get, I think, enough zips there. Should be fine as he heads into the final crawling section. Let's sort of see.
It's going to be a little bit tight, but he's all good. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, it's looking good for Fetty. Very, very little mistakes so far as we continue on in his run. He will hit this switch, lower the water down, and chase Venom into the next puzzle, which I think he can solve. I don't know about if when he was younger, but I certainly couldn't solve when I was younger. You like to make fun of me for that. But that's fine.
Man, I just feel bad for you, Spyron. It seems like you tend to be the punching bag for a few different jokes about
That's
you.
All right.
But man, yep, very quick going through going into Venom's puzzle here. We're gonna see whether or not he can solve it pretty quickly and get one of our other cutscene overlaps. And it looks like he's got it just fine. One of the easier ones. Zoe, heading into Tunnel Crawl. Let's see if he can keep the pace. He really needs to play solidly if he's going to catch up with Fetty.
Yeah, needs these zips to go well. He's hit really nice ones on this first little section of the tunnel.
Yep.
So needs to get at least one more potentially just to be safe on this second half, and he should be good to go. There
yep, that should do it.
Be enough. Yeah,
that should absolutely do it. He probably would have been in a scarier place if he couldn't get any zips in the second half, but he may have been able to get through just fine anyway. But there he is. Now he's just got to get through the rest of the level. Should be fairly easy if he's not spamming the jump button in that first little web swing. Fetty getting a few good zips of his own going through Lizard's maze. I say that, and it's getting a little touch and go with them, but he manages to pass the crushers, and he's going to be heading in to Venom 2. Let's see how it goes.
This is where it can get a little bit dangerous once again. Similar to, I guess, the Scorpion, but almost like turned up a notch, where there's a lot of randomness that can go on in this fight. Now we try and manipulate it as best as we can by standing in certain positions on this level, just to make sure he either spawns, in theory, most importantly, in front of us, or if not that, across from us. Ideally, we don't want him to spawn in the rafters at all. So we'll see how Venom fares for Fetty.
Indeed. Let's hope he gets a good spawn. A little bit late on that spawn, but that's a good, perfect spawn right there. And he's just across the way, so no points for perfect spawns. But it is the second place. Yes, indeed. second best place for him to spawn. Let's see if he gets a good one. All right, he's going to have to wait. Except he's going to throw a couple web balls and get that extra web cartridge. And he's going to be sitting fairly pretty going into Sib.
Yeah, Sib, the classic Sib.
I hate saying Symbiote and Fesbugle every time. I'm okay with just saying Sib.
Like it. I like it, yeah. Yeah, very cleanly executed Venom 2, actually, which will definitely keep FETTI'S lead growing ever so slightly.
Zoe almost taking a bath. They're trying to get these zips through, having to be very careful about this second set of crushers here. Having about as good a luck with zips as Fetty did. Ooh, okay, good. I was afraid he was going to go into the wrong tunnel there, costing him precious time. Let's see if Zoe can get these perfect spawns. That will do well to close that gap between the two, because Fetty is already heading into Elevator as Zoe is heading into Venom 2.
Yeah, that's it. There's not too much room left now for Zoe to catch up, so he needs every advantage that he can get. So let's see if Venom will be kind, will give him the avenue to catch up. He wants 3 really good spawns, either in front of him. Here we go. Okay, that's 1. We need 2 more of them. Would be absolutely amazing.
Indeed. And it looks like we're not going to get so lucky. Zoe going ahead and sending his web balls out on this second spawn instead of the third, meaning that he's going to have to... Oh, no. That is terrible luck as Zoe gets... Oh, and he gets a... and he gets a missed combo, meaning he's going to have to get a 4th spawn from Venom. That is a shame, but he does pick up the web cartridge, putting him on an equal footing where Fetty was exiting Venom 2. Now, still anybody's race for sure, but I think Zoe could stand to have Fetty get a bit of chuck luck when it comes to Mysterio. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's to be fair, a very, very, very well recovered Venom 2 from Zoe there to make sure that the side spawn in the rafters didn't throw his game out completely, didn't cause him to spawn more than he wanted him to. 4 cycles is absolutely fine. Ideally, obviously, you want the 3, but 4 being absolutely fine in this instance.
And that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Your ability to improvise and pick up whenever things go wrong. And Zoe has shown that just fine by not letting Venom get away in that 3rd spawn. Get the switch and disappear before getting any damage on him. Fetty getting a very clean stop the presses, and he did not do any setups for any skips, so we will not be asking him to restart that level.
Absolutely.
No soda moves here.
No, but he did get the comic, which was good. A good little extra point pickup there for him. So we'll see if any more comics do come. Now, I think the only real ones that are probably good to go for are is at least the one on Waterfront Warehouse that you can grab just kind of to the left as you enter the second half of the building. But here we see Mike, another good place to pick up points. Will he give him a hug?
He sure does.
Will.
You know what? This would have been Fetty's villain arc if he was the one to kill Mike. Just him being the only one to do so. Ooh, Fetty going a little bit fast on that, but luckily not swinging past the cutscene. That would have been a boon for Zoe because Fetty would have had to restart the level otherwise.
Yeah, something to definitely be careful of for those unaware. If you do exit that room as you hit the web ball on the generator and exit it too quickly to the fact that you down the corridor faster than the cutscene can play, you will actually skip the cutscene, which is, of course, a skip and would require you to restart the level if you didn't want to be disqualified. So, yeah, we see that avoided from Fetty, going as fast as he can without doing that, as now he wants to go as fast as he can in the Mysterio level, hoping for no nonsense on this level too.
I didn't think there was collision on the top of his boot, but that's something interesting I learned about this fight now.
Nice.
So let's see. Oh, and he's in a good spot. He managed to very quickly get to a no-grab spot as he heads into the second half of this Mysterio fight.
Yeah, and Zoe not too far behind, definitely hot on his heels, so Fetty not wanting to make any mistakes now as he progresses into the final section of the game, progressing towards the final 3 bosses. So getting a bit caught on that symbiote there in the doorway, but that is fine. We'll make his way through the fire and flames there.
And we'll get a quick note here that Fetty does have that comic. He did point it out. He quite literally showed us that he has that comic.
Yeah, much easier for him than other people, funnily enough, yeah, to be able to show that.
One of these days, I'll be the second person with that comic. Very efficient with those generator kills. Fetty still locked in. Not one ounce of messing around on that man's face at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
This man said, "I do my bits for Subway, and that's it."
Ooh, we get a bit of a
Zoe
swing
getting
from Zoe here, which...
Wow.
Okay, that's not too bad. You will have to wait a tad bit longer for the cutscene to play out, just because the entire animation does have to come out before Spider-Man will start running. But at least he didn't get caught too far down the corridor and glitch himself out or anything crazy like that, because that would have been really, really unfortunate.
Now, it is important to note that these two are actually very close, given their respective time with this game. It is wild to see this happen. Fetty dropping through the fan, grabbing his armor, and it looks like he's going to grab that comic. He knows he has time for it. And this place blows. All right, and we're going to move on to Underwater Trench. Here we go. Geronimo.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, at the point we're at now, will the one cycle from Fetty, if he doesn't pull this off, make the difference? I know he's still a fair bit ahead. Zoe obviously still got Waterfront Warehouse to tackle, and he's still having a bit of trouble landing this final shot onto Mysterio. There we go, hits it now.
And that's why it's his least favorite, that's for sure.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons. Fetty still very comfortably ahead, a little bit low on web cartridges. We did see him grab an extra one in the first room. Let's see if Zoe mentions anything about the comic. And it looks like we're not getting anything from that. We'll keep an eye out, though, because they are tuned into the stream. I'm sure they'll say something. But
yeah, I'm almost certain he has something prepped. It may just be that he's too locked in to remember to reveal anything as the time goes at the minute. Oh, Fetty, gosh, nearly jumping straight off there.
But it looks like he is hitless with those lasers so far.
It certainly is.
Fantastic. No hits from the lasers. Congratulations on gaining the point for that. As he goes into stopping the fog, our last non-boss fight level of the run. Zoe hot on his heels, one level behind.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. It looks like Fetty potentially picking up the fire web in the middle there just to save his cartridges, as that will refill them completely, which is a very handy little trick. Obviously not using it to go for the skip, because that would be illegal. We would have to go and tell him that he couldn't do that. I'm sure he knows that, though, as the runner of this tournament.
As someone who has been watching for other people's skips very closely, of course Fetty would not be doing it himself. That would be... Oh. But that's not a skip. That's not a skip. That's just a visual bug.
Indeed. I think technically that means if you were to run this game again, that he would have cutscene skip activated. I think that is what that generally means. So that's pretty cool. Not going to be very useful for the rest of this run, but that is something to potentially note, that he will have cutscene skip activated if he did continue afterwards. But of course now we have deemed that illegal, and that is no longer allowed, setup or no setup. So
indeed, and that is in just about any category. We have outlawed that particular trick because it's not guaranteed that we have a guaranteed way to get it, but the setup is weird, and it's hard to tell whether that setup has been done for any particular run. We do get a hit on Zoe. He will not be getting the point for damageless underwater trench. Fetty getting ready to hit his third pylon and go on to his fourth. And now it's time. We need to see, is Fetty's hardware the problem when it comes to one cycle lock?
Yeah, needs to nail this because Zoe is just behind him. So we'll need to nail this to make sure that he maintains that lead where he can.
And
no, he absolutely hasn't. Wow.
He misses that one cycle lock. Zoe looking like he almost fell down the chasm, but because of how close he was to the door, Spider-Man just automatically went to the door. That was fun to see.
Yeah, good save there by the cutscene. Well played. Maybe intentional.
Thanks, game.
Maybe not. Yeah, thanks, game. Not often we get to say that. Not often
Yeah.
we get to say thanks, game.
I know Fetty isn't saying it right now, unfortunately. The health is not even low enough. I don't know if he can take out Doc with web balls. He may need to go for the riskier strat of nailing a few more combos.
Yeah, and he definitely will need to make sure that Zoe doesn't catch up at this point. Looks like he is going to go for the web balls. I think potentially might just tickle him enough.
That'll do it.
Yeah, will.
Just in time. And Fetty going in with the 8 cartridges heading into Carnage. 9 right at the end. Fantastic. Excellent. Zoe himself heading into the Doc Ock fight will hopefully do a bit here to catch up if he gets the 1 cycle lock. However, Fetty already starting the Carnage and doing the slight... He is locked in with the slightly slower Carnage strats. Still perfectly fine. You don't save that much time with doing the new strats. It's probably better used if you are low on web cartridges, which we can see Fetty most certainly is not. Zoe coaxing and dodging attacks left and right here from Doc Ock, getting ready for the 3rd pylon. And there's the hit. And that's it for Carnage. Fetty is going to be heading straight into Monster Ock. And it's getting ready to be the next person to fall in Monster Ock.
I'm sure that's what Zoe's hoping for. That's really the only chance he's potentially got now to pull this back. He's waiting for the laugh to finish. And now we'll go for the 1 cycle. Let's see if he nails this. And at least he'll have that over Fetty if he does.
And there it is.
Absolutely has.
There it is. Excellent. That's the 1 cycle lock. That'll help save him a bit of time. Man, I am so scared for my PB because it is currently lower than Zoe's, but I swear it will not be for long.
Yeah, I'm interested actually. That raises a point potentially. I don't know if Zoe's on PB pace here. If I just double check very quickly what his PB is.
His PB is a 38:30, I believe.
Oh, very well potentially on then to beat his PB here if he continues down this route of a nice Carnage and then a very nice and smooth Monster Rock. Well on his way potentially to pick up some extra points as well as just some extra bragging rights to be able to say that he beat his PB in a race.
Fetty really clutching up here, getting a little caught on some of the ground columns there. Hopefully not getting too tense and sweating it out because we don't want to see him make a mistake due to those nerves.
No, absolutely not. Not when now Zojulix is entering into the start of this run as well. So wants to make sure that no shenanigans happen now as Fetty will look to try and close this out and take victory in this little rivalry race that we've had. Indeed,
and I know Zoe is going to be heartbroken to see that he's going to end up racing. No, he's not going to end up racing a little bit more with this loss. That means his time in the tournament is going to be all the shorter, which is something he was banking on. But at least that would have worked out for him either way. Fetty getting ready to wrap things up. I think he's got one more floor to go. And here it is. We're wrapping things up. Whew. Okay. And there it is. We got a 36:01. A very respectable time. A very respectable time for sure. Zoe getting ready to wrap up his. We're going to see the comics collection from Fetty. It looks like we got six comics from Fetty. So
excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. So a very well run race from Fetty. A nice good chunk of points there that he'll pick up as a result of winning the race, completing a run and everything else. Now, Zoe is definitely on PB pace here, has to be said. He is well on his way to earning some extra points there, as well as being able to just have, again, some extra bragging rights to say at least he beat his PB as well going into this race.
Indeed. Although I will say, Fetty coming out to a nice total of his points right there. And he's getting ready for Spider-Man 2. He's going to have to hurry up if he wants to lay down the superiority with basketball percent. Because Zoe is not very far behind in finishing his race.
Yeah, definitely a disadvantage on the hardware end of things because you definitely have to take a little bit longer than an emulator would to boot up the game. So I'm assuming you will not be going for that.
That's
So yeah, about to clutch out this race, about to end on a 37-21.
Man, why do you have to stomp me
37-21.
like that? But fantastic work from Zoe. That is a PB for Zoe. We can't wait to see that on the leaderboards. That is, we've gotten at least 2 PBs this entire tournament. I'm excited to see more. I'm excited to see that entire leaderboard get updated with a lot of our tournament runs. Now, I think now's a great time for our runners to come on back to the commentary channel, and we'll move on to the interview phase.
Wow, well, here they are, both of us joining us in the interview booth. Congratulations to both of you. Fetty, of course, congratulations for winning, but Zoe, congratulations on picking up a new PB. So both things to be proud of there. I guess, Fetty, starting with you then as the winner. Were you paying attention at all to Zoe as he was right behind you? It was really, really a close one.
Yeah, so I stopped looking at the stream and just, listening to commentary and everything, and I would occasionally look over and see some things. So at first I was like, okay, like let me try to PB, right? Like let me like that was kind of the thing. Was like Zoe's gonna be right behind me this entire time. Like let me see what I can do. And then as I got farther and farther ahead, I think probably around like hidden switches time, I was like, okay, I can kind of relax, pick up some comics, do some little fun, like, you know what I mean? Like fun things instead of just like, normal routes. But yeah, like especially with like, I'm pretty sure if I was actually splitting, I'm pretty sure I golded Lizard Maze. I had like some of the best zips I've ever had in my life. Just kind of things started going right for me. The game really didn't fight me at all. And I think that that's what was the difference here, is that the game didn't fight me. Like it was just very smooth going through. I had a couple of slip ups here and there, but the game was just very smooth for me. I don't know about Zoe, but like that was just, it was just how it was for me.
Indeed. So, bringing it over to you for a second there. A couple unfortunate things happened during the run. Which one do you think was the absolute worst?
I think the absolute worst was just the entire police chopper chase. It was a culmination. It's hard to narrow it down to just one thing, even though I did get face choppered at the very start of Police Evaded.
Gotta love it.
But there were, not only did everything go just really, really not right for me, aside from skill the girders, there was a lot of small mistakes and just a lot of bad swings that really, especially coming off of missing Scorpion. So like pretty much from Scorpion all the way up until Rhino, it was just time loss after time loss after time loss. And at that point, I knew at that point I knew I lost the race. Fetty's too good of a runner for me to, and I saw that Fetty wasn't having the same luck that I was having, so I was like, okay, unless Fetty gets like some horrible Venom 2 RNG and then doesn't get one cycle, maybe I bring this back. But I lost so much time in that area that my mentality was just kind of chalked. It just, like, I was getting so frustrated because I was just like, okay, this is a small thing that's going wrong that's costing me time. This is a small thing that's going wrong that's costing me time. So when I didn't have any splits up until after, I think, Lizard's Maze is once I started actually seeing a comparison. Um, but when I hit police, but looking just at my comparison to my PB splits right now, I was plus 34 to my PB coming out of Police Evaded. And I knew that
Amazing.
my early game was rough even at that point. Like, even comparing to that run, I had a lot of time to save in the early game. So to only have a more bad early game was like, all right, this is chalked. But I knew I still had a lot of time to save in the sewer gauntlet. And so I just had to. I knew I couldn't tilt too much because I knew that I could save enough time between between just in the sewer gauntlet between tunnel crawl, uh, and Lizard's Maze, and so I knew that I had a lot of time to save there. I didn't think about how much time I had to save after Doc Ock because I didn't realize I didn't get Doc Ock one cycle in my PB. But then once I got that and I saw me go from -9 to -56, I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good now.
Amazing stuff. And congratulations on that PB, by the way. Bringing you to within spitting distance, a whole 17 seconds off of third place, with second place 92 having the third place spot. But you have closed that gap significantly. Congratulations on that. And Fetty, congratulations on winning that race. Now that you've pulled ahead in this historic rivalry battle, is the beef over? Is the rivalry over? Or is it just beginning?
Listen, look, me and Zoe, like, it's one of those things of, if it wasn't for Zoe, I wouldn't be running this game right now. And like, running one of my like, this is my favorite game of all time. So having like, finally being able to race it out in a no skips race, which is where this all started. I didn't that the big thing, if you're wondering why I didn't go for a lot of points, is because I wanted to take Zoe seriously. It's not just, I have to take Zoe seriously. That's the thing, is that at any single point, if I were to, like, say, go to the Hobgoblin lair and pick up the comic, like, Zoe's ahead. Like, it's one of those things of, with this, it was more of a respect of, like, how, like, respect between two runners. I'm pretty sure it went both ends on this one. But like, it's not a really, I wouldn't call it a rivalry. I would call it more of like, so yeah, help me out here. What would we call this? Like, two friends that
So I think the best way to describe our kind of friendship doesn't really come too much from a rivalry because I think it kind of, so this is going to sound kind of weird, but I think it's kind of a friendship that comes out of, this is just because this is just my nerd coming out. Um, so from the movie Cars, I feel like our friendship kind of represents a lot of like Doc and Lightning, where you see a lot of the inspiration that came from that Lightning had from Doc's racing career,
right.
and then you see how Doc got more involved in the scene because of what Lightning was doing, and I think that that reflects a lot more because I'll tell you this, after my pace 2019 run, that was the run that Fetty was talking about. It was a 41:19 was the no skips world record at the time. I had zero intention of running this game again. I was like, all right, like when I got that 41:19, that was world record. I PB'd by like a minute and 20 seconds in front of, like, live on a big stage in front of speedrunning legends. And I was just like, all right, I have no reason to play this game again. I don't care anymore. I hated regular any percent at the time. Hated it. Absolutely despised it. Um, and so then I was just like, all right, I have no reason to play this game again. And one day, I think I was doing like a 2018 run or something, and some random freaking dude named Willie Fetty comes in and raids me and says, "Hey, just so you know, uh, I'm going to beat your record." And I'm like, "What?" And then I found myself caring again, and I was like, "Well, I guess I can't go away for too long."
I mean, I would. Your analogy was spot on. That's just exactly how I felt coming into it. And usually, you hate the commenters that come in to your stream, and they're like, "Your record is like, I can beat that," and like all of that stuff. And but Zoe, open arms, like, came in immediately, started like, he wasn't worried. And I remember the specific message, like message when he got worried. I think I got within, like, on PS3, I got within like 4 minutes or 3 minutes of his time. And then I saw him start streaming the game again. And that was really the point where I was like, oh wow, like, we're here. But without Zoe, like, legit, without Zoe, I don't think our community would be where it is today. So, for anybody who's making jokes in the comments about me dressed up as a Care Bear, trying to take it seriously, blah blah blah. Like, no, in all honesty, this was I'm just like I don't care if I would have won or lost. Like this was more of a, you know, very much a respected like this is this is the race I wanted. Let's put it that way. This is the race I wanted, and I'm happy about it.
Hey,
Yeah, I love the Cars reference. I think that's brilliant. Now, I guess Fetty, are there any film references you can describe to us to describe, I guess, the hopeful rest of your journey then through this tournament? Is there anything, any movies or for TV shows or anything that come to mind to describe your hope and dreams for the rest of this tournament?
Breaking Bad because I'm gonna be cooking.
ooh,
I said let's cook. And then I'm gonna spend an entire stream looking for a fly, and going crazy. And then Caitlin's gonna have to give me a whole bunch of cough syrup, and I'm gonna have to go to sleep. That is going to be the rest of this tournament is. But no, in all seriousness, I'm just happy to be here and happy that people are enjoying their time racing and prizes. And this is the biggest tournament we've done so far. So I'm happy about all of that. I don't care if I win or lose, dude. I'm just hey, I want that. I will say I do want the crown on my head that says no skips champion. I will say that. But other than that, I'm happy. I'm just happy to be here.
love it, love it. So, with that, Spyron, any other questions for our runners?
I guess Zoe just unfortunately on the back of that defeat. What are your expectations then going forward? Now, obviously putting in still a very competitive time, only losing out really by like a minute or so to Fetti'S in this race. Do you expect to take it further then in the losers bracket now?
I think I have a chance to make a pretty decent sized loser bracket run. The only kind of downside is we had a troll in the tournament, and so I'm expecting to go up against that troll in the losers bracket. And that troll is a really good runner, and I can't deny that. So I feel like I'm going to be hitting a pretty. I still expect myself to make a pretty decent losers bracket run. I feel pretty confident, especially coming off of this PB. I knew I could get a PB in any of my races, and I knew that I figured I was going to PB against Fetty, as long as I didn't just completely chalk my mentality, which I managed to do, and I feel really good about that. So I feel pretty confident in my ability to make a losers bracket run, and I think it is. I mean, heck, I'm excited to see what more I'm going to be able to do. I think this run is going to be a little difficult for me to beat right away. I need to clean up a lot of like small mistakes. But that's just kind of, I mean, that's just kind of where it is. But at the same time, y'all keep doing these community things and they keep me coming back, even though I keep saying I'm done with this game. So heck you guys for that. But I mean, honestly, that's like the thing though, is without these tournaments and stuff, I wouldn't nearly be a part of the community as much anymore. Like I know I mod the leaderboard, but like I don't. Aside from these tournaments, I mean, I really don't have too much of a desire to run this game. It just not necessarily because I don't enjoy it. It's just this game is mean, and I don't handle mean games very well.
True.
And so yeah, I don't know though, because you guys keep bringing me back to this, and who knows, maybe something crazy will happen. I have no idea what to expect, but either way, I'm just like Fetty said, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to show off the abilities that God has given me, and being able to speedrun and talk to people and just continue to have fun.
For sure, and we are looking forward to when you join us for the All Comics tournament at some point.
Back. He needs that record back.
That's right.
You know, I could get it back if I just ran that category again, and I really should. My time in that category is trash.
Hey, don't worry, Kid Mode tournament up next too for Tiger.
You think I'm running kid mode?
But do we have any final questions? I guess as I take over the stream real quick, do we have any final questions for anybody?
I think that's it. So, I mean, you run the tournament, so take it away.
All right, so look, Zoe, where can we find you? What do you do? And how's that Lord of the Rings? what do you do? And where?
Yeah, so in speedrunning world, I am a Lord of the Rings speedrunner through and through. I speedrun any Lord of the Rings game you can think of. I probably have a time somewhere on the leaderboard for it. So you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/socialix, was just put in chat. I also do freelance esports shoutcasting. I'm really trying to grow that right now. So if you guys do anything esports related and you need a caster, please let me know. I would love to be able to do that. And because I mean, I love esports. Yes, speedrunning is an esport. I die on that hill. But I definitely would like. I mean, I love doing commentary. I've been doing it for a long time. And so if you like esports, do
I might hit you up for
want an
like
esports
27th or something.
shoutcaster? Let me know. Um,
I would-
Otherwise, I mean, I'm just kind of doing my thing. Very family focused right now. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping to get back into streaming a little bit more.
We miss
So
you. We miss you. That's all that matters is we miss you, and the community misses you. Spyron, where can we find you, my big dog?
Yeah, twitch.tv/Spyron is where you can generally find me, or youtube.com/SP_Spyron, I think it is on YouTube. So check that out. I keep saying this, I'm trying to branch out beyond Spider-Man, try and do some more runs. Whether or not that'll actually happen is a good question. So stay tuned to find out. Maybe more stuff coming. But yeah, just follow me. I'll stream occasionally when I
I've
can.
got a game for you that I
Oh,
think you'd be pretty interested
We
in.
talk about it after stream. I got
Yeah.
you. But
oh,
I can
okay.
go ahead. I can go ahead and do Chuck's for him. You can find Chuck on the Spider Runs channel doing announcer stuff. Because he doesn't stream anymore. But if he does stream, it's twitch.tv/Chuck Nicey. If you need him for any voice acting work, just how Zoe was talking about esports work, he is a professional voice actor. So you can go ahead, come into the Discord, hit him up, see if you guys need any voice acting for some indie games or just any voice acting in general. He is very, very, very talented. So that is Chuck Nicey, our co-host, and I have been your host, Willie Fetty. You can find me on twitch.tv/Willie Fetty. You can find me on YouTube under Willie Fetty as well. And me and Spyron should be doing a collab video here for the no skips setup, like the no skips, whatever, like tutorial here soon. I have a lot more actual content coming with the more Resident Evil I've been playing, so it's not going to be just stupid speed run stuff at this point. But I appreciate everyone. Go ahead, you know where to go. You know where to cut to, not the outro. You know where to cut to. So go ahead and cut to it.
That's right. It's time to head to the prize counter, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So since I'm the incumbent, I am just gonna go ahead and say that Zoe can go first. So Zoe,
Oh, frick.
would you like to pick any prizes out of this entire prize pool? Guys, go ahead and tell him what he can get with his
Absolutely.
88 points.
So at 88 points, you can get, for 30 points, The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 23. You can get, for 30 points, the Spider-Man plush. For 20 points, the Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman action figure. Or for 15 points, the regular Spider-Woman action figure. Those are your choices. Just to
We
give
don't have
you
anything for
a...
80.
No, nothing
No,
for 80,
actually, the
no.
next one up would be the 90-point one for the
Yes.
Kellogg's demo.
Man,
That'd be your next one up.
unfortunately, you guys didn't count his cartridges, and he's at 90. So
No, I definitely counted his cartridges, unfortunately. So he's just short, just
man, it's
short.
almost like I was trying to just trick everybody so you get 90 and
Yeah.
give you the Kellogg's demo. But
Well, darn us for being honest. Man,
so Zoe, would you like to bank your points or go for one of those prizes?
I think I'm going to bank right now.
Okay, if we get another bank, everybody's saving up. I understand. I agree. If we're talking about me, it is definitely a bank. Just because I have a plan for my points. Not discussing that yet, but it is definitely a bank for me. I am at the nice amount of points. I don't know if you guys counted my 4 web cartridges at the end, but I am at the nice amount of points.
Did indeed.
So,
That definitely contributed to the nice. So
yep, let's
very happy with
go.
that.
I did this on purpose. This whole run was on purpose to get to 69.
it's
So
all one big
perfect.
meme. You're pulling a real soda on us.
Ugh. Ugh.
All right. If we cut back, thank you to Nerd You so much for sponsoring. Thank you to the prize counter. Thank you for contributing everything. Thank you for just sponsoring and always being a team player when it comes to our runs. If you need anything from them, just go ahead and join their Discord, join their Facebook, join their whatnot. It is a blast. They can find whatever they need for you. And if you say that you came from the stream, you can get 15% off of your purchase, which I mean, why not, right? So just go ahead, check out Nerd You Comics and Collectibles. Thank you so much for being a partner and continuously supporting everyone. And everything that we do. I really do appreciate it, and I know our community appreciates it. Thank you, Zoe, for running, and you still have some runs in the losers bracket, but thank you so much. I enjoyed this match a lot. Thank you to our commentators, Spyron and Chuck, for being here, and Spyron for being up at 3 a.m. Like, thank you so much for all of that.
And special shout out to Chuck. This is his first time running the broadcast, and I think it has gone absolutely brilliantly. So big shout out to Chuck. Yeah, big shout out to Chuck.
All right, Chuck, there's two things you got to do here. For everyone, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, chat. You guys are the best chat in the world. You guys are we have the best community in the world, and it's just growing and growing. I love you guys so much. And hey, Chuck, go ahead and roll that outro.
I'm on it.
Man, that would have been much closer.